Experiment 9. Identification of functional groups. Identification of functional groups. This is a very good one because it's going to remind you some of the things you were taught in CHM 121. Now looking at the screen, you have your alcohol. The distinguishing feature of an alcohol is the OH group. But don't forget, in your carboxylic acid too, you have OH group. But the OH group is directly linked to a carbonyl group. So together you have COOH, that is carboxylic acid. But for alcohol, the OH will stand separately attached to the carbon group. Whereas in the carboxylic acid, the COOH will stand separate attached to the carbon group. So please take note of the difference between the two because it could be confusing for some of you that cannot identify well. Because both of them have OH, you may take one for the other. No, there should not be any confusion. Alcohol has only OH, attached to the carbon bearing it, whereas the carboxylic acid has COOH attached to the carbon bearing it. Okay, you also have your ether. Your ether is having the oxygen molecule sandwiched between two branches of CH3, which is also attached to some other things. Whereas your ester is having a carbonyl group also attached to another similarly carbonyl group. Just look at this structure very well. At least if you wake up in the morning, you look at it. Before you go to sleep, look at it. Then you begin to put in molecules yourself. So that if you see a structure that is not, this is just like, we call them skeletal structures. These are skeletal. So you may not be given a skeletal structure, a skeletal picture of your organic compound. Now, you may be given an elaborate one. That shouldn't be a problem. Just locate the functional groups. That is all we are dealing with. And back to experiment 9. The search to identify functional groups in organic compound is what this experiment is all about. And you know your functional groups are those molecules that actually give every compound their uniqueness. Excuse me. Now, how do you identify acidic compounds? How do you identify basic compound and so on and so forth? Now, in the manual, acidic compounds under organic compounds are basically carboxylic acids or phenols. Then I told you in experiment 8 audio revision that carboxylic acid will dissolve in NaHCO3, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate, aside from dissolving in sodium hydroxide. Whereas phenol will only dissolve in sodium hydroxide without dissolving in NaHCO3. Now, when you are given substances and you are asked to test, it's as simple as you have known that the substance I'm given, if it dissolves in NaOH and refuses to dissolve in NaHCO3, I'm suspecting phenol. But if it dissolves in both, then you can suspect carboxylic acid. Now, for the purpose, you can go through your manual very well. Then another thing for phenols is that phenols do not liberate carbon 4 oxide from NaHCO3 solution, whereas your carboxylic acid will liberate carbon 4 oxide. There will be effervescence. So that will tell you, okay, this is carboxylic acid. We can't go over the manual to be checking all the procedure, but note, for phenol, there will be no effervescence and colored solution will be formed. That is for phenols. Either it gives you green colored complexes or blue color complexes with iron chloride. So with that, phenol is confirmed. But with carboxylic acid, it will dissolve in NaHCO3 plus ethanol plus H2SO4. Once you notice effervescence and a sweet fruity smell of an ester, that confirms carboxylic acid. Now, for the third sample you were given in the lab, which is amine, your amine will dissolve, aside sodium hydroxide, it will dissolve in HCl. Then apart from that, it will turn starch iodide paper to blue. Amine is easily discoverable. You can easily discover it. Once you put in your starch iodide paper and it turns blue, you don't need any seer to tell you that is amine. And now we have tried to differentiate between phenol and carboxylic acid. With phenol, there will be no effervescence when sodium hydrogen carbonate is added to your sample. But with carboxylic acid, there will be effervescence. 2, color solution is always formed with iron chloride when phenol is there. But with carboxylic acid, there's nothing like colored solution, but a sweet, fruity smell of an ester. So it will do you good if you also still go over and listen repeatedly to the audio revision before your exam. God bless you.